Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today we're going to be trying out a brand new deck on my main Chief Pat account. And as you guys can see, I'm actually going to be using the Lumberjack. I know inside of that chest opening video, I got two Lumberjacks back to back. So I tried to make a sort of Lumberjack deck, and I decided to call it the Lumberloon deck because I'm going to be using the Lumberjack followed up by the Balloon. Now, a lot of people haven't figured out to play the Lumberjack just right because he's sort of an awkward card to play, but I have heard that he's pretty good when he's paired up with the Balloon, so I threw a couple other cards in the deck. Of course, the Poison and the Zap spell, the two standard cards right now that a lot of people like to play as far as their spells go, and let's go ahead and try it out inside of a couple of battles and see if we can work this deck out. Now, starting off, I did a really awkward push down the right-hand lane. You can see my Goblins actually got to the tower when my Ice Wizard tanked, as well as my Balloons about to do work onto that tower and get at least a single shot off. Meanwhile, my Ice Wizard's going to play some defense against that Prince, but it looks like it'll actually go ahead and target the Golemites for a second, but still able to stop that Prince's push. Both my towers in the 2000s, and it looks like that Wizard right there is going to be able to go down, and we're really not going to suffer too much damage. So that freeze spell definitely helped out a lot, and now at this point we're only a single balloon shot away on the right hand side from taking out that first tower and taking control of the game. Now, we haven't used the Lumberjack Balloon combo just yet, so let's go ahead and try it down the left hand lane and to see if we can pull it off. Now, what's really awkward about the Lumberjack is that he actually runs really fast, which you don't really want when you're using a deck where you're slowly building up, so it's really hard to get him going at an appropriate pace. But you can see he's going to drop a minion horde as my Lumberjack goes down. My Balloon's going to make its way there. I thought my Zap spell was going to go down quicker, so I didn't end up killing that horde, and because of that, we're going to do almost no damage on the left-hand side. We put so much elixir into that push, and all we're going to get out of it is a couple hundred damage onto the tower. Now, some well-placed Goblins will take out that Wizard and only get a single shot on our tower. Meanwhile, another Golem on the very top. We're at an extreme elixir deficit right now, plus he does have that elixir collector still pumping it away in the top left-hand side of his base, so we're going to have to play some defense with our Ice Wizard, our Cannon, as well as a lot of those smaller cards that we have. And there go the Three Musketeers. It looks like this guy's playing the Golem Three Musketeers deck, which is so much fun to play. Personally, I love playing it a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and zap that down as well as play those minions at the same time. That's going to end up killing those Three Musketeers, and all that elixir that he had saved up is going to be absolutely worthless as we try to cap off this game. Now, of course, Minion Horde's going to do work right there. Both of my Ice Wizards going back to back in the left-hand lane. I'm even going to drop my Balloon to try to get to the tower, and he's actually got a Wizard right there. So as I zap both the Wizard and the tower, unfortunately, his Wizard is going to go absolutely ham against all of my troops, and we're going to do nothing to the tower, and that's sort of going to reset the battle. Now, of course, on the right-hand side, the tower's all the way down to 748. So can take that out fairly easily. Not a very good place or well-placed Goblins right there to take out that Wizard, so we'll take another piece of damage. Meanwhile, gonna zap down everything in the right-hand lane, and at this point, I'm sort of just poisoning the tower down. This game's turned a little bit sloppy. I'm just gonna play defense. The tower's all the way down in the 300th, and I know my poison spell does over 319 damage, so we should be fine to take that out. My minions are gonna be sloppy as well. At this point, we're just holding on for dear life. I could actually lose this battle depending on what my Ice Wizard targets. Luckily, it targets enough of those minions to make things work. I'm going to put a cannon right on top of the Wizard at the last second to stop the Wizard in its tracks. Golem is actually going to be taken out by the Goblins as well as the Wizard, and somehow, some way, we actually held on right there. And at this point, I was sort of freaking out. I was like, wait, what? I survived after that push and all those mistakes that I made? It turns out that I did. At this point, I'm just dropping some defensive cards. I can drop absolutely everything. I'm just going to play my Lumberjack. I'm going to play my minions. Rage spell goes down, and with just a fraction of a couple of seconds left, woo, we're gonna end up taking that victory for a very contested battle, to say the least. Instead of sloppy, I guess I'll just say contested, because that was a little bit weird of a battle, but somehow, some way, we were actually able to pull it out. Now, getting into the next battle, let's actually try to utilize our Lumberjack during this one. In the previous battle, we didn't get a lot of Lumberjack action. Mostly, it was just our Balloon floating by itself in the very beginning. So here goes my Lumberjack right now. I've got some minions as well. He's got his elixir collector, which obviously is going to be a little bit annoying, but let's go ahead and do the Balloon push. So the Rage Spell has been placed. Now our Balloon's going to be floating down the lane. One of our minions was alive for like a half second, but now that the Ice Wizard's onto the tower with Rage, the Balloon's onto the tower, we're truly going to get some good value out of that Lumberjack to get it to the tower with some Rage, and that's going to be the very first tower of the game on only a single push. Now, a little bit of a greedy poison spell right here. He could have an aggressive card like a Royal Giant. There it is right there, to go for a push down the right-hand lane. Of course, Goblins are going to be able to start stabbing it down. I was waiting on a zap, but it doesn't look like he's going to zap down my goblins. I would have had my minions anyways, so that first tower of the game's gone. He doesn't have an elixir collector, and we're looking pretty solid so far. And he's going to go ahead and reset with another collector. Now, of course, that means I can set up for the exact same push. Ice Wizard in the back, Lumberjack in the front, Balloon wherever you want to put it, and then spam all your other cards with your forehead down the lane. So that's what we're going to do. Going to go ahead and set up with this Ice Wizard. I don't agree with that Furnace. I do not care about that left-hand lane. Go ahead and do some damage, bro. I do not care whatsoever. And now we've got a huge push going down the left-hand lane. Meanwhile, in the right, I'll drop some Goblins to try to help out, but not going to be too big of a deal. The Balloon with the Rage Spell is going to go absolutely bananas against the tower. The Lumberjack Balloon combo working out super well. We're going to kill the Elixir Collector. We're even going to get a shot off against the tower before he has to zap our Balloon down, and almost getting another shot off on the tower, or else things would have been extremely bad for him. So only 2,500 HP left. My tower on the right is dealing with the Furnace pretty handily. Being able to one-shot those Fire Spirits really does a lot, and at this point, we're going for the Lumberjack. We've got the Ice Wizard and the Balloon. My minions to back it up, just in case he does anything funky. Balloon's going to go towards the tower, and that is going to be the third crowd of the game, and wrap up a pretty solid W. So that showed off the power of the Lumberjack Balloon combo. The first game really just did some awkward pushes with either one or the other, but inside of that game, we got a couple of good Lumberjack Balloon combos off, and let's go ahead and wrap it up inside of one more battle. Alright, so it looks like we're going to start off with the Lumberjack in the back. As usual, we don't have our Balloon. He does have that Elixir Collector, so I would want to punish him on this very first push. I don't want to let him get that Elixir for free. So let's go ahead and use our Ice Wizard and our minions. Really dangerous push. There could be a lot of counters, like a Valkyrie. He could use a Zap, anything like that. But here's where we should get paid off. The Rage Spell is going to go down from the Lumberjack. I've got the Zap spell, which I should have played a half second earlier. So I'm really not going to get all the value I could have gotten out of that by getting some minion hits off onto the tower. But still, everything looks pretty good. But I do have to suspect that he's going to do a push down my lane, and there goes the Giant Musketeer combo. Now, Lumberjack in the back, only being level 3 is actually sort of underleveled for legendaries, at least inside of the higher arenas. So, going to have to smack down that tower as soon as we can. The Lumberjack's actually going to die, and it should rage the tower a bit, but he actually has the lead so far inside of this game, just by a couple of HP points, but still, looks like he's got my tower down to 1,511. Lots of emotes flying out during this battle, and let's go ahead and set up for a proper push, and hopefully this time we can do a great Balloon combo. We didn't get a player Balloon inside of the last one just due to the cards that we got out of our starting hand. So let's see if he plays another Elixir Collector, and there it goes right there. So he's down on Elixir. I had already played my Elixir Collector and been at 10 Elixir before he played that, so we're going to have a massive combo. There goes the Balloon, there goes the Ice Wizard, not even going to care about those guards. We've got the Zap Spell coming up in just a second, which of course will drop right on that Musketeer's face. Tower number 1 for the game. His Poison Spell is actually going to miss all of my cards, and my Balloon's still going to get another hit off onto his King Tower. And that was definitely the push we needed to turn the game in our favor. So we utilized everything that we needed right there. We didn't even have to use the Lumberjack because it wasn't in our card rotation. At this point, things should be a little bit better for whatever we're trying to do. And I'm just going to play some defense and let him make all of the moves. It's going to be a really slow push with the Giants, so I'm placing my Lumberjack as far back as possible, preparing for this push. It might be worth it to poison his stuff just because it's going to be such a cluster in the center of the map. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Defensive poisons like that. Usually pretty rare, but definitely worth it in this occasion. My minions are actually going to end up working up pretty well. The Lumberjack's going to die and send all of my troops into a rage, and just like that, we only took poison damage against our tower. Our Ice Wizard is actually doing as much work as it can. Another Lumberjack in the very back for that Musketeer. It's actually going to target the Musketeer, which was really lucky, but still, now that the Giant is down, only those guards are left. And we can play, I guess, an Ice Wizard right in front to try to stop it and then not take too much damage. So minions, right as that poison dies, Mini-Pack is actually going to try to do work against our tower. It takes the tower out, and somehow, some way, this guy brought the game back. And I'm just going to go in. I thought the game was over. I was sort of getting lackadaisical at the very end. I need to calm down with this vocabulary right now. So let's do a Lumberjack Loon push. We got the Zap Spell dropping on top of the Musketeer. Damage is going to be crazy against that King Tower. And he sort of made me angry by taking that tower, so we got to go for that third crown and wrap up this game, guys. We can't let this game go on any longer after that very last push right there. So let's use our Ice Wizard. The Mini Peck is going to get locked onto. The Goblin should stop the Mini Peck. And the Lumberjack should help out and kill that Musketeer. The Rage Spell will do absolutely nothing, but at least the Lumberjack played some good defense. At this point, I know he doesn't have any defensive structures except for his Elixir Collector. I figured that out by now. So I'm going to wait for the Balloon, look at the placement of my Poison just for the Musketeer, predicting where it's going to be. Minion's going to help out as well. And as the Prince plays some defense, that's not going to be the card that he needs. And the Balloon should be able to wrap up this game, drop that second bomb, and that's going to give us the 3 crown to 1 victory. So he brought it back towards the very end with 11 seconds left. We were able to pull out that 3 crown, 20 trophies for that battle. But guys, the Lumberloon deck is pretty fun to play. I wouldn't say it's a top tier deck by any means. I think Giant Balloon is definitely still better because the Giant is so strong and the Lumberjack really doesn't have a place inside of this meta. So we'll see what Supercell can do to change that. Maybe by increasing its Rage Spell radius. I don't really know. It sort of could make the Rage Spell useless if they make it too strong. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.